Homes energy efficient is a goal of more and more homeowners and builders. But what if you could completely end your reliance on the local power company? One area developer says he's building the first homes in the Chicago area that do just that. Eddie Aruza takes a look.
At first glance, these new homes on the city's far south side look like typical new construction in Chicago. But the difference is in the details, and the details are different.
Well, these homes are really the next generation of homes. You've heard of the Chevy Volt or the Toyota Prius. Those were the next generation cars that are all about energy, renewable energy. And these homes are all about that. They're all about the renewable energy introduction into the home building business. And what we tried to do here was create a home that is basically sustainable. In other words, it makes all its own power.
They're called zero-energy homes, and according to their developer, they're the first of their kind to be built in the Chicago area. It's not that they require no energy, just no energy from the power company. The source of the home's self-generating electricity is a roof of built-in solar panels that produce an estimated 20 kilowatts of power per day.
20 kilowatts is, it's about an average 1,500 square foot home with 3 bedrooms would use in a day.
Solar panels, of course, are nothing new to Chicago, but the zero-energy homes not only produce their own electricity, they also send some of it to ComEd by way of a reverse meter.
See, right here there's an arrow, and right now it's pointing to the left. When it's pointing to the left, that means I'm delivering power back through the line. It's going the other way. We're not using all the power we're making. So now we're storing it with ComEd, and they're giving us credits through this little digital system. And then later on, you know, when the sun's down, obviously the arrow is always going to go that way, but we're using our own credits back. So it's basically free power.
The green theme continues inside the 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. The carpeting is made of recycled plastic, although it feels natural. The toilets are low flow. The lights are all compact fluorescents. The kitchen counters are acrylic, but made from so-called reclaimed materials. And the insulation in the walls, says the architect, goes above and beyond what's required.
In the state of Illinois, you're required to have a certain R value, R20 for example. What we do is we exceed that R value by using the same typical wall thickness of 6-inch, but what we're doing is we're using a dense polystyrene.
The floors may look like hardwood, but they're really made of bamboo. And even the shelving in the kitchen cabinets help to preserve some trees.
They use the wheat chaff particle board for the construction of the box as opposed to traditional tree fiber. They're using wheat stalk fiber post-harvest. We're not diverting food from the food chain.
By the standards of some Chicago neighborhoods, these homes are relatively affordable, ranging in price between $340,000 and $370,000. But that's twice as much as what some of these traditional homes in this neighborhood are going for.
The houses are selling down the block. When they're selling them, they're selling for like 100, and I think the highest one was like being sold for like 180, and that's very high for this neighborhood. And I mean, maybe it'll bring up our prices too, but I think the houses are very expensive for this neighborhood.
The sales pitch that's given is that what you save in energy costs will compensate for the cost of the home. In California, zero-energy homes have taken off, but as everyone knows, there's a big difference between the weather there and here, and there's a question of whether the homes are viable when things get dreary in Chicago.
We have 4.4 hours a day average a year. California's got a little over 5. So we're maybe about 20% behind them. So all you really have to do is make the array 20% larger, and now you're on an even footing. These homes have to be run on a moderately conservative kind of energy usage schedule. You can't leave the thermostat in the winter on 80 or way down to 60 in the summer. It's not going to work. You're going to draw more power than we're making.
And just in case, that power line that feeds into the ComEd grid also accepts electricity produced by the utility, should it be necessary. For Chicago Tonight, I'm Eddie Aruza.
Both the state and the city offer incentives for making your current home more energy efficient. To find out more about these incentives, you can go to our website, WTTW.com/ChicagoTonight.